This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Rusev is in next at 23:54. He's a sidekick, throws DDP out at 24:31. Then he throws out Fandango 6 seconds later. And then Rusev gives Bryan a sidekick, and Wyatt throws Bryan out at 25:31. Meltzer would say crowd was real mad and started turning on the match. And it's obvious at this point. Goldust is in next at 26 minutes, but the crowd doesn't care. They're chanting for Daniel Bryan, realizing he was eliminated. They have effectively turned completely on the match. Stardust teases throwing out Goldust, and then Goldust slaps Stardust in the face, and they start going at it. Another Daniel Bryan chant. And then Kofi Kingston would come out, and they are heavily booing Kingston and chanting for Daniel Bryan. Adam Rose comes out 29-28. He's going to launch Kingston over the top rope, or Rusev would rather. But all the Rosebuds catch him and throw Kingston back in. So there's usually a fun spot for Kofi to tease an elimination, and this is it here. The clever ways he would come up with was always a high spot. And Meltzer would say, this crowd didn't want to see him. And aside from that spot, which he wasn't doing something spectacular as opposed to simply getting caught by a bunch of people and thrown back in, he did nothing here. Rusev throws out Rose at 30 minutes and 31 seconds. I guess the story is that Rosebuds in theory could have saved him, but because they were saving Kingston, they're out of position. And, Rusev would place Kingston on the apron, kick him out 31-37. Now the crowd is chanting for Lesnar because they're in love with him. Reigns throws out Goldust at 32-37, and then he throws out Stardust at 32-40. And now we're getting one of our crowd favorites back. Damian Mizdow is in next, but Miz stops him, tells him to go to the back. Mizdow pie faces Miz to the floor, and the crowd is now behind Mizdow. And this is the first time the crowd comes alive since Daniel Bryan was eliminated. And then of course, Rusev throws Mizdow out 36-01. Meltzer would say that was a big mistake. Now the crowd is furious. And it was for no reason, since there was so much negativity to the fans in regard to the booking and the big picture. You didn't need to do this here. Jack Swagger would come in at 36-34. Then Ryback at 38-20. Ryback is throwing people around, but he's had a little bit of an internet feud with CM Punk, and the crowd is chanting for CM Punk. Kane comes in at 40 minutes and 3 seconds. Dean Ambrose comes in at 41-30. Titus O'Neil comes in at 43-04. And Reigns and Ambrose go to do a double clothesline so he can immediately get over, trying to meet or break Santino Marella's 2-second rule. The problem is he can't take the bump all the way over instantly, so he goes over on the second try. And allegedly, according to the reports, Vince McMahon was furious over the spot that was supposed to be perfectly timed, screwing up. Bad News Barrett is in at 44-53. Cesaro at 46-49. He's throwing those European uppercuts all over the place. Rusev dropkicks Big E off the apron to eliminate him at 48-16. Big Show comes out at 48-40, and everyone's attacking him. He does the big roar spot. Everyone goes flying. And now the crowd is booing everyone and everything. Kane is going to choke Ambrose, and Show is going to choke slam Roman Reigns. Show and Kane push Ryback over the top at 49-32. Show then throws out Swagger at 49-40. He's going to choke slam Rusev, who rolls under the bottom rope to the floor, and he stays there the rest of the match. And then at number 30, Dolph Ziggler comes out. And a lot of people are actually expecting it would be The Rock. The Rock had gotten on Instagram the night before, showing that he was in fact in Philadelphia. And then just before the show, Vince McMahon posted on Twitter a photo of The Rock with his mother next to the ring. Meltzer would say, so let's figure this one out. If Rock was going to be there, shouldn't they have advertised it ahead of time and taken advantage of it? And if the idea was to make it a surprise, then they shouldn't have done that. Instead, they leaked it to where the hardcores in the building would know, so they were waiting for it, and he wouldn't get the surprise reaction. But the casual audience that he could draw in didn't know, so they didn't order it until the next day, at best. And that's great, except the people who would have ordered it if they'd known he was there, many of them probably weren't going to pay to watch a stream on tape. Ziggler would then super kick Show, Kane, and Wyatt. He does the double DDT on Show and Kane, and at 51:01, he super kicks Barrett off the apron, so he's eliminated. Cesaro gives Ziggler a giant swing and clothesline him, but Ziggler stays on the apron. Eventually, Ziggler would super kick Cesaro out at 52:01. He's going to come off the top rope and do a knockout punch by Big Show, though, and then Show and Kane would throw Ziggler out like nothing at 52:52. And they announce here that Kane has broken the record for the most career eliminations. And then Show knocks out Wyatt and throws him out at 53:15. And this leaves Kane and Show on one side, Ambrose and Reigns on the other. Show would chokeslam Ambrose, and Show and Kane then throw him out. So now we're down to 3. And with Ambrose gone, the crowd has figured out Roman Reigns is going to win, and they are booing and chanting bullshit. Show tries to throw Kane out. Show and Kane start shoving and go at it. He's got a brawl with Kane, and eventually you can use your imagination. Reigns throws both out, 57-14. The bell rings and the crowd starts booing like crazy. And the fans on the side where Rusev was laying the entire time start chanting, "We want Rusev," knowing he wasn't eliminated, which screwed up the finish because nobody was supposed to remember that Rusev was never thrown out. And it was supposed to be a surprise a minute later when Michael Cole was to discover it when Rusev attacked. Show and Kane get back in the ring and attack Reigns and double choke slam him. Rock comes in, hits a spine buster on Kane, a people's elbow, and rock bottom Show. And then Rusev runs in to jump Reigns, but Reigns spears him and dumps him out at 59-33. This leaves Roman Reigns as the winner, celebrating with The Rock, which feels like it would be a Kodak moment, but the place is booing like crazy. Meltzer would say Rock was not at all happy by this. From a creative booking standpoint, this was easily the worst Royal Rumble ever. Star and 3/4. This is so negative that #cancel WWE Network would trend #1 worldwide on Twitter right after the event. Just unbelievable that #cancel WWE Network would be a thing, but here it is. What'd you think?
I'm just sitting here listening to you describe all this. Again, we're Monday morning quarterbacks. Sure. We're geniuses, but I also know in the Rumble, when you're back there and you're sitting on the headset and you know what's coming, there's a certain thing called ad-libbing that is a lost art in our industry, which is what everything used to be based on, period. It was all ad-lib. You didn't set up a bunch of stuff in advance. You went out and you just listened to the audience, felt the audience, tried some stuff. If it didn't work, you tried some other stuff. And you finally kept going until you found something that worked. Well, you're sitting back there on that headset and the crowd dies and Ms. Dow comes down and they pop. Don't you think somebody sitting in the gorilla position would have had the authority to go, "We're calling an ad lib audible here. For the next 4 or 5 guys we send down, have Ms. Dow eliminate them right away." Now, I'm trying to remember that cast of characters that came down after that, but was it Swagger and Ryback and some of those guys?
Yeah. After Mizdow, it was Swagger, Ryback, Kane, Ambrose, O'Neal, Bad News.
Let's just say it was Bad News, O'Neal, and Swagger and Ryback. If that was the audible you called, and he just eliminated those guys quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, we're calling an audible here. You would have gotten that audience back, I think, other than just cream him, right? Get rid of him. Ms. Dow?
No, I agree. It would have turned it for a little while for sure.
And I'm now I'm just moving forward here. Hear me out.
Okay.
That would have just been one little chink that you could have changed to get the crowd back. Now the biggie. Here's the biggie. You knew who the hot guy was in town, Daniel Bryan. If you would have gotten it down to maybe Daniel was say there's 11 spots left, he comes in maybe, and the point I'm trying to get to was from the point he comes in, say you've got 10 of your heaviest hitters out there with Roman. If Daniel and Roman worked together and eliminated all those guys. Now, I'm not saying bing, 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 bing. I'm saying make it make sense. And over the course of time, you see they're eliminating each guy. And I start to figure out, hey, it's going to come down to those two guys. That's where they're heading it. They're wanting to settle it between the two of them. They eliminate Show and Kane as the last two, but it's the two of them working together because I watched it. It didn't look plausible to me the way Roman dumped those two guys over. Now, Roman Reigns is a pro. He does all the right things. He's a good-looking guy, is a great athlete. He's a great businessman. He's done nothing but what's been asked of him. You know, this would have helped Roman and those guys working together, and now you eliminate Kane and Big Show, and now those two are looking at each other. And you give them 5 minutes, and they start slugging it out, and he's got to work for it, but Daniel Bryan eliminates Roman. Okay? Maybe you have Roman slide back in. You think, okay, the shit's going to hit the fan. You already have your winner. Here comes the bad guys back in, whoever you designate, to jump on Roman. You slide in The Rock, and maybe the three of those guys make a little comeback on the bad guys and clear the ring, and you have a feel-good moment between the three. I think Rock should have been a surprise. If you haven't drawn your house by that afternoon, you're thinking you're going to get a bunch of buys by having Rock on social media. I think your bigger payoff is to have him totally as a surprise at the show. But that's just me. But you could have had one television later, Roman come out to congratulate Daniel Bryan, and right there is where you pulled the trigger. Roman Reigns should have beat the crap out of Daniel Bryan. Now you had a full heel. Roman is a heel. He's a Samoan ass-kicking machine. He should probably still be a heel from when in my opinion, again, the Shield were together. Because when they were together, they were magic. But they got flip-flopped, heel, babyface, so many times and turned on each other so many times that it just quit being plausible or believable that they could get back together after all the shit they've been through. You know, and I think Roman, when he was with the Authority, they could have broke those guys off away from him, left them heels. God, they could still be running as heels. But I think it should have came down. You should have given the audience exactly what they wanted that night, which was Daniel Bryan winning the Royal Rumble.
It's an interesting show to go back and watch, and it's even better when you hear, someone with your resume say what so many of us fans were thinking.
I know you're scratching your head thinking I've lost my mind sitting over here. No, I'm sure.
No, I think everyone listening would agree with you.
It's just one of those things when it is so crystal clear as to what the lifeblood of our industry is, and that's the fans. They are the lifeblood of what we do, and when they tell you this is what I want, damn it, give it to them. It's not brain surgery. Give them what they want. And we're, there was a room full of people smart enough that if we gave them what they want, now we can add the layers to it because we've given them what they want. It's easy from there.
Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future clips that we upload. We hope we made you laugh, and we hope we can save you some money right now at SaveWithConrad.com.